The New York Jets are now on the board.
Okay, Jet fans, Darrell, read this.
Being in New York has been one of the greatest blessings.
Zach's Fifth Avenue ran that one right now.
The New York Jets select.
To tell you who you're going to get me.
On January 14, 2021, the New York Jets hired Robert Saleh to be their head coach, and they embraced a youth movement in year one. Entering last season with the youngest kickoff weekend roster in the National Football League, the Jets finished second in the NFL in snaps from rookies and first-year players. Now with the full season under their belts together, Saleh and Jets GM Joe Douglas and their staffs remain closely aligned, but they've added the familiarity with staffs, schemes, and likes and dislikes. This has been an offseason full of certainty as the Jets look to continue to ascend. Welcome to the third installment of our Draft Countdown series presented by Duncan. I'm Eric Allen. Coming up, we'll hear from NFL Network's Brian Baldinger, The Athletic's Dane Brugler, plus Caroline Hendershot and Ethan Greenberg. But we start in the studio with Eric Coleman. Just 1 week until the 2022 NFL Draft. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. And, you know, the fact that the Jets have so many great draft picks, so many 2 top 10 picks, it's exciting. We've been talking about it all week. We're going to continue to dive deeper into it. Can't wait for it to happen.
Let's bring in Anthony Beck. Congratulations on your recent appointment as a head coach in the XFL. Should we call you Coach Beck?
You can call me anything you want. I appreciate that. Blessed and humble for the opportunity. This is a huge venture for me, something I've been kind of looking at here for the last couple of years, and to get this opportunity, it's really exciting.
But you're still part of our team, and that is key moving ahead. Let's get this thing started. Robert Saleh has reiterated the path is crystal clear where the Jets need to go from top down. Where do you think the Jets are on that path right now?
Well, they're definitely on the path. They're bringing in the right players. They're drafting the right players, bringing in key free agents. I love the way that this unit is coming together. I think that obviously you're not there until you have that Lombardi trophy, but the team is definitely inching closer and closer towards that path.
Anthony, looking back, 7 of the Jets' final 8 games were within a score in the fourth quarter compared to just 4 of the first 9 games. What does that say about the growth you saw over the season's second half?
Well, you talked about earlier about a youth movement, and that's what it is. Young players on the field. You're going to have that early on in the season, but the things you can lean on is the fact that you saw growth to finish the year out. To have a lot of youth, to have the top tier rookie class, a lot of guys play on offense and defense to get those reps and gain experience. To me, that'll prove to have life years and leaps for a lot of these players heading into their second year.
Eric, offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur's offense was only the second unit since the 1970 NFL merger, with a rookie leading the team at passing, rushing, and receiving yards. That 2021 draft class should be a foundational piece for the Jets for years to come.
Absolutely, they will be. Zach Wilson, Michael Carter, and Elijah Moore are our 3 core players for this offense. And I think back to when John Abraham, Chad Pennington, Sean Ellis, and Coach Anthony Beck were those 4 draft picks. They were the core of the team. When I was drafted in 2004, they were the leaders. They were the people that we depended on to make big plays. So I see the same kind of situation with the 2021 draft class.
The 4 aces back in 2000 AB. What do you think, as we look ahead to the 2022 draft, of the rise of Georgia's Trayvon Walker?
Well, there's a lot of intrigue because of his length. His arm length, number one, is extremely long, and his athletic ability is really off the charts for his weight and size. I think coming from a pedigree like Georgia, well coached, Kirby Smart did a great job of really, getting that talent to play on the same page. And they really did feed off each other. I think the question mark is, can he do it on his own? Can he do it when he doesn't have premier D tackles around him and another rush end and all these high-flying linebackers with speed and corners and safeties all built around to make that defense great? So that's the intrigue, and that's why maybe some people were willing to take a chance. Heck, some people are talking about him maybe going first overall after all said and done.
He's got my notes. Would it surprise you if Walker was his number 1 overall selection?
It would. He has great numbers. He ran 4.5, but surprisingly low sack rate, especially with, like Anthony said, with the talent around him. You look at guys like Aiden Hutchinson, who did it the right way the whole season, Kayvon Thibodeau, who's just a star in the making, Kyle Hamilton, the guy from Notre Dame. There are a lot of great players in this draft, so I see Trayvon Walker probably falling back a bit.
All right, one more before we go on the clock. Anthony, is Malik Willis out of Liberty a top 10 selection once we get to the draft on Thursday night?
No, I don't think he is. I mean, when you talk about top 10 players, especially quarterbacks, you expect guys to come in and play now or go to teams that have veteran quarterbacks that are in place where they could, and particularly if you go in the back end of the 10, can learn for a year and jump in. I just don't see those teams that are available. I really don't see him in a top 10, but we all know that quarterbacks get overdrafted, and he may be one of those guys. He's definitely talented, but I think he's a one-year guy, sit behind and wait. There's still some work that needs to be done for him.
Let's go on the clock as we put 2 minutes on the board, and our guys have to answer some of the toughest draft questions. This session will have a distinct defensive flavor. Eric, is Aiden Hutchinson the best defensive player in this draft?
That's tough to say. I mean, you have guys like Derek Stingley Jr., Kayvon Thibodeau. There are a lot of great players in this draft. Aiden Hutchinson might be the one, but we'll see. We'll see when the future holds.
Anthony, is Kayvon Thibodeau the most polarizing prospect in the entire class?
There's no doubt. I mean, listen, a lot of production in 32 games at Oregon, 19 sacks around a team that wasn't very talented. And people talk about, his desire to play, loves chess, loves to do other things. Well, guess what? Myles Garrett did those same kind of things. He loved poetry, and in 5 years, he's got close to 60 sacks.
Edie, you like poetry too, because if you are Jets GM Joe Douglas, is KT appealing at number 4?
He's definitely appealing. Thibodeau is a game changer. You talk about guys who can come in, force fumbles, force sacks, force errant throws. He's a big-time playmaker. He would be a great addition to this defense, so I can see it happening.
Anthony, where will Cincinnati's cornerback Ahmad Sauce Gardner come off the board?
I don't think he gets past 7. He can go anywhere with 3 with the Texans, 4 with the Jets, and 7 with the Giants. I think he's a premier corner with a lot of production. A lot of teams really like him.
Eric, Anthony just talked about the Jets right there. Why does Gardner make sense for the green and white?
Well, he fits great into the scheme. He can play man-to-man coverage. He's a big corner. He's lengthy. He can shut down one side of the field. He can also play 3 deep. So I think when you have a great corner like that, it opens up what you can do as a defense, and it helps broaden up the blitz package as well as the coverage.
Anthony, will one of the Jets' top 2 selections be on an edge rusher?
Yeah, I think so. I think Thibodeau and Jermaine Johnson are the 2 targets I really think that can make the biggest splash for the Jets. And if they're available, they'll think long and hard about taking one of those guys.
Eric, who is your favorite pass rusher in this draft?
Aiden Hutchinson is just a guy who has a great motor. I played with a guy, Kyle Vanden Bosch, who had a great motor who just goes and goes. I think that eventually you wear down tackles, you get the ball on your side. I like Aiden Hutchinson.
Eric, the clock's already run out, but you get a bonus question because we're going to talk about safeties. Where should Kyle Hamilton go in this draft?
I think Kyle Hamilton will definitely fall in the top 15. He's a unique player, 6'4", 220 pounds. He has a range of like a Kerry Rhodes, and he has the physicality of a Cam Chancellor. So he's a guy who you can fit in the box. He can play the middle of the field, just a dynamic talent.
Great job, fellas. We're going to come back and get your thoughts on Mel Kiper's mock draft. The New York Jets draft party returns to MetLife Stadium on April 28th. Join the Jets to watch the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft live on the video boards and enjoy player autographs, locker room tours, and more. Tickets are free and available to download at nyjets.com/draft party. The Jets selected 7 players in the 3rd day of the 2021 draft, including a pair of Michael Carters. Here's Ethan Greenberg and Dave Bergler on some potential sleepers in this class.
Dane, last year the Jets drafted Michael Carter, the running back out of UNC, in the 4th round. By the end of the season, he was starting for the team. So who are some guys, regardless of position, that you think could play a significant role for their team from a pretty early point in their rookie season?
The running back position this year is so deep on day 3, where we're going to see 2 running backs come off the board quick with Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Maybe 1 or 2 could sneak into day 2 as well. But day 3, we're going to see so many of these guys fly off the board. And because there's just such a volume of running backs, it's inevitable. There will be guys that are 6th, 7th round picks, maybe even PFAs that in the right situation, they will outplay where they're drafted or signed as undrafted free agents. So without just saying a specific running back, I think the running backs just in general this year, because it's so deep on that third day, would not be surprised at all if we have a few sleepers that end up being productive this fall in the NFL.
Dane, who are some guys that you think are going to go on day 3 that you think might outplay where they get selected on draft weekend?
Safety Percy Butler from Louisiana, 4.3 player, 4.3 speed, and you love the special teams background. He's got that pedigree that's going to keep him on a roster for a long time. Like I said, a wide receiver, maybe Tanner Connor from Idaho State. Big time track guy. He played both track, and he actually got a track scholarship to Idaho State first, and then he kind of walked into the football office and said, "Hey, I can play football too." They brought him on, and he's kind of blossomed from there. Still coming along as a route runner, but we talk about a guy that's 6'3", 226, and he runs in the 4.4s. Teams are gonna have their eye on that.
As always, Dane, thanks a lot. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
The New York Jets Schedule Challenge, presented by JetBlue, is back. Win $100,000 by correctly predicting the exact order of all 17 games, including the bye week. Visit jetschedulechallenge.com for a chance to win and official rules. Another year, another very good group of receivers. For more on that, let's head to the film room with Caroline and Brian Baldwin.
Thanks, EA. Okay, Baldy, we first got to start out with Ohio State's Garrett Wilson. We saw his speed at the combine when he ran the 40 in 4.38. What do you see on the tape?
He's a fast guy, but he's more than that. Like when you watch this this route right here, he's gonna run this double move. And when you watch it, watch him at the top of the route. Because when the ball is there, his ability to adjust to the ball in the air, I think is the best of anybody in the draft. What that tells me is he's got tremendous body control. Like right there, he's in position, he's located the ball, and then look how he's just turned around to catch the ball like that. You see that all the time from him.
It's crazy. He essentially did a 360 in the air, too.
Pretty much.
What about his teammate, Chris Olave? The two of them were an incredible tandem this past season.
They really were. Like, if you watch him right here, like he's going to run this double move at the top. And at the top of the route, what this double move is going to do is he's going to get tremendous separation. Like the defender is looking this way, and he's running this way. And the result is you get that separation to come back to the ball for the touchdown. You see great route running from him, the way that we watch Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen and some of these great routers in the league right now.
I mean, quarterbacks love that separation.
They
you
do.
know that, I'm sure. Okay, let's transfer to somebody who was at OSU before transferring to Alabama, and that's Jamison Williams.
Well, Jamison is right here. And nobody really knows how fast he is. He tore his ACL in the national championship game. But I know LSU has a lot of fast guys on their defense, and he runs right by him. Now, he did this all year long in the SEC. 15 touchdown passes, speed. Like, he just gets behind defenses. He can flat out fly. When he gets healthy, he's going to be able to do the same thing. You know, you just have to allow him to get healthy first.
I mean, you see it right there. He was one of the biggest deep threats in college football this past year.
No question.
Okay, we have to touch on, of course, the Jets' very own Elijah Vera-Tucker, his former teammate from his USC days in Drake London.
Yep, and here he is. Like, he's right in the slot. And on this play, he's going to run this route down the middle of the field here. And they're going to pick him up the way they're supposed to. He's well covered. But with Drake London, he has this ability just to do this. Like, just to time his leap. Almost low post basketball right here. He times the leap, like he's got the defender on his back and he comes down with the ball. So he's able to adjust to the ball, finish it. He's got tremendous size. He knows how to use his size, okay? And then he's got all the other things. He's got great hands, all the other components to being a game changer.
Yeah, he's truly the total package. But Baldy, thank you for the insight. We couldn't have done it without you, and it really helped break down each of these top prospects' strengths.
The Jets draft on Dunkin' Sweepstakes is back. Win Dunkin' coffee for a year and 2 Coaches Club tickets with an on-field experience for the 2022 Jets home opener at MetLife Stadium. Visit NewYorkJets.com/Dunkin' for a chance to win and official rules. Everyone knows another big part of the NFL draft is the outfits. Bart Scott, Eric Coleman, and I got to experiment with some famous Jets draft outfits earlier this month at Saks Fifth Avenue. The full feature will be on next week's episode, but here's a sneak peek.
Hello.
Hi, Eric. Nice to meet you. I'm Desiree.
Nice to meet you as well.
Welcome to the Fifth Avenue Club.
Oh, I'm excited to get dressed. Definitely my style.
You setting the bar high, baby.
Hey, you see they got me
you
fly,
casket
man.
sharp right here. I see you, baby. Green on gray on gray.
Oh yeah. Woo. See the sneaks too? Hey, but you're next, so you gotta go get dressed now. Ooh, let me see what you got, dog.
Hey, man. I feel like new money, man. We need to be on a yacht somewhere, man. Ooh, I think we
Zach got us clean, right?
We did them proud. I
Yeah.
think we did them proud. You know what I'm saying?
New great seats are now available for Jets home games this season. Secure the best seats at MetLife Stadium and lock in exclusive season ticket holder benefits at nyjets.com/tickets. The NFL draft can always be a crapshoot, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun with the predictions. For more on this spring's Las Vegas proceedings, here are Caroline and Ethan.
Thanks, EA. We are bringing you a third mock draft, and this week we are going to be looking at ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr.'s 2-round mock draft and see who he has the Jets selected.
All right, let's go.
We're rolling right into it. At pick number 4, Mel Kiper has the Jets selecting defensive end Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon. What do you like with that pick?
Well, I feel like we've been waiting for this pick, not only because of the player, more specifically because of the position. You know that Robert Saleh always wants to add some juice off the edge. And as far as Kayvon Thibodeau goes, as a player, he became the 4th unanimous All-American in Oregon history, 7 sacks and 12 tackles for loss in 2021. He's the highest-ranked recruit in school history. Dane Brugler compared it to Jadeveon Clowney, who went number 1 overall in 2014. But it feels like the big question with Kayvon Thibodeau has nothing to do with him as a player or about his personality. A very unique player, very unique guy. So what are evaluators going to think about this guy? Because the production does speak for itself.
It does, and also Dane Brugler's comparison to Clowney, I love that. That's a huge compliment. All right, let's get to number 10. Mel Kiper has the Jets selecting wide receiver Drake London out of USC, who we spoke about last week.
Yeah, nothing really to report here, but there's one note that I want to add. Drake London recently had his pro day. He did all the position drills, so indications are that he's back or close to full health. So whatever team would draft him should be a full go, especially by the time training camp rolls around.
And we saw those videos coming out of Drake London's pro day. He looks completely healthy. But here's where I think things get interesting. At pick 35, Mel Kiper has the Jets trading. He has them trading their pick at 35 and a day 3 pick to the Bengals to move back into the first round at pick number 31. And with that 31st pick, he has the Jets taking center Tyler Linderbaum out of Iowa. What do you like with that pick?
Well, first of all, I love a good draft night trade. Last year, Joe Douglas moved up 9 spots to take Elijah Vera Tucker. In this scenario, he traded up 4 to take the top center prospect in Tyler Linderbaum. Interesting case, though, because Linderbaum is scheme specific. He does fit what the Jets want to do. He started the last 3 seasons for Iowa at center after playing defensive tackle. But the one thing I do want to note here, the Jets love what they have in Connor McGovern. So adding Linderbaum, adding some youth, some depth, you got to love this if you're a Jets fan.
All right, and finally for the last pick of the 2-round mock draft. At pick 38, Mel Kiper has the Jets selecting running back Breece Hall out of Iowa State. What do you like about that pick?
Well, first of all, I just want to say having Breece Hall and Bryce Hall on the same team, a lot of fun. I need that in my life, but this is an interesting pick here because the Jets are very happy with Michael Carter and what he brings to the table, but you also know that the team has a by committee approach, and I'm not sure that they'd go this early with the running back, but you can't argue with the selection because Hall has a nose for the end zone. Scored in 24 straight games, setting an FBS record. The production speaks for itself. Consensus All-American and Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, back-to-back years, 3,044 rushing yards, 41 touchdowns in that span too. You take a look at the career numbers, might be a lot of miles on this car, but look at the numbers here, 50 rushing touchdowns, and also Breece Hall's got the speed, he's got the quickness, he'd add a lot to that backfield for the Jets.
24 straight games. I love that stat. There's nothing bad about it. All right, well, that wraps up ESPN Mel Kiper Jr.'s 2-round mock draft. We got Kayvon Thibodeau going out in number 4, then Drake London at 10, a trade to get Tyler Linderbaum, and then wrap things up with Breece Hall.
Thanks, Caroline and Ethan. E, do you like Kiper's trade-up scenario late there in round 1?
You know, I'm kind of a fan of almost trading back, you know, to gather more draft picks. You know, there's a lot of holes that need to be filled in this team. It's a youth movement. why not gather more draft picks instead of moving up and losing them?
Oh, a curveball from Eric Coleman right there. AB, you more in favor of moving back into round one or moving back like you just talked about?
You know, I really think there's a lot of good players in this draft, and I would not be against that. But I will say this, you know, you're going to have 2 top 10 picks. If you can find a way to get up there and a guy is in a spot where you feel like you can go get him and he's got extreme value on your draft board, I have no problem with moving up. You get 3 first-round draft picks. I feel like the Jets had that, you know, when they looked at what their situation was last year, they felt like they had those kind of players. You go do that and get that guy.
Anthony, you know quite a bit about Iowa State football. Would Breece Hall, though, be a luxury pick for a Jets team with a lot of needs?
Well, he's clearly the best running back coming out of the draft. You know, he's somebody to think long and hard about. He brings everything. A lot of tread on his tires. He's had a lot of carries, but a ton of production, healthy throughout his career, workhorse, really good understanding of multiple facets of the run game, inside zone, outside zone, getting outside, and running downhill as well. He's got good speed, showed that off at the combine. So a lot of things to like. If he's there, it's a conversation now. You're not going to just hand in the pick and say, take this guy. You're going to say, well, hold on now. We got a chance to add to the backfield with some of your young players you have now. That'd be intriguing for the Jets.
Eric, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about your partner now being a head coach?
Man, I couldn't be more happy for him. You know, Anthony is one of those great guys. He's an amazing leader. You know, I've learned a ton from working with him on preparation, how to get ready for shows, how to conduct yourself. He's going to be a great leader in a minute. I'm excited for him.
AB, we're happy for your brother. We'll see you here next week. We don't want to lose any members of the Wolfpack here, though. Anthony Beck's going to be part of the team moving forward. We'll keep the fun rolling next week with our best hand, our annual New York Jets mock draft.